What's going on, everybody? It's AxelBeats here for AnimeUproar, and the last two chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen were a little bit slow, but everything in this arc has come to a peak this week, including someone who is actively hunting Sukuna. I don't know about you, but I think you'd have to be a little bit crazy to try and do that. If you enjoy this video and want to see more Jujutsu Kaisen content on this channel, remember to leave a like as well as comment down below. It only takes a second, but it is a huge help with the YouTube algorithm. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to AnimeUproar, make this the video that you do subscribe, and be sure to click that bell and select all notifications. You can also follow AnimeUproar on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar, or you can follow myself at AxelYT. Naturally, this video will contain spoilers for Jujutsu Kaisen, so please proceed with caution. You have been warned. So just quickly, I want to cover chapters 156 and 157 just super briefly so that everyone is all caught up. 156 picks up with Fushiguro and Panda trying to get Kirara to listen to them. We get a little bit more of a clear understanding on how Kirara's curse technique works. It's called Love Rendezvous, and it's based on the Southern Cross constellation. Basically, it assigns a star, or more functionally a number, that has to pass through a certain order before people can move freely. The order follows how far the correlating star is from Earth. If two objects or people are marked with the same sign, they will be drawn together. So for example, when Panda throws a car and it has the same sign that he does, it gets pulled back directly at him. Once Fushiguro figures out how this curse technique works, the chapter ends with him pinning Kirara down. 157 started with Fushiguro literally begging Kirara to hear them out, and Kirara does agree, only for them to be cut off when Yuji is blown back through a door onto the rooftop. He is being absolutely pounded on by Hakari, but every time he gets hit, he just gets back up, stands his ground, and refuses to dodge. Hakari charges up his cursed energy and agrees to listen for as long as Yuji can manage to stay standing. We also learn that Hakari's cursed energy is especially jagged and sharp, with Yuji saying that it feels like a serrated bat every time he gets hit. Hakari at first gets upset with Yuji, saying he's just a cog, but Yuji passionately explains that yes, he is a cog, but cogs have functions, and his is to remove curses. He then turns the question around and asks what Hakari's purpose is, and the fire in Yuji's eyes is enough to win Hakari over, at least enough to make a deal. And that brings us to the most recent chapter, 158, entitled Kogane. The chapter kicks off with Hakari totally shocked that Gojo has been sealed, which, to be fair, is pretty reasonable. He isn't the only one who gets surprised though, as Panda finally shares with everyone that Yaga has been killed by one of the higher-ups. Yuji starts to cry, but Panda assures him that it's alright. I don't know if I'm ready to deal with the moment where Panda actually has to deal with his feelings, because a sad panda is never something that my heart is able to take. Hakari also mentions that the people he is indebted to are going one after another, implying that he and Yaga have a good relationship as well, which is kind of surprising given how much he doesn't seem to be a fan of Jujutsu High. But it does just go to show how much of a good guy Yaga really was. Something else to note here is that he says one after another, implying this has happened more than once, and I'm not sure that he would say this about Gojo considering Gojo's not actually dead. So I'm a little bit curious who else he might be indebted to that has passed away. With that though, Hakari agrees to join them in suppressing the Culling game under the condition that once it's over, they help him out with his business. Fushiguro says whatever he needs should be easy enough to do, and at first Hakari is totally doubtful of him, but then Fushiguro explains that he is the head of the Zenin clan, and we get this amazing panel of both Hakari and Kirara looking absolutely floored. Hakari says it's the most surprising news he's heard all day, and with the help of one of the major family heads, his flight club will probably be able to make some progress. As he has up until this point, he calls out to Fushiguro, calling him Sea Urchin Head, and when Fushiguro corrects him, we see a total shift in character for Hakari, calling him Fushiguro-kun, and saying that they should get along and be friends with a very cute face. I love this guy. He somehow rides the line of very genuine and completely manipulative, but in a very fun way. Honestly, I think in general, one of the strengths of Jujutsu Kaisen is characters being able to bring out a lot of intensity when it's needed, while also being able to be light and fun outside of that, and Hakari seems to nail that to a T. From here, the group starts making plans for what colonies they should head to, with Panda saying that Yuta is heading for Miyagi. which, on that note, if you don't really know that much about Yuta and want to know more about his story, you can check out our video from the other day about the upcoming movie which will focus on Yuta. Plug aside though, Kogane pops up and starts ringing. Kogane is essentially a curse who acts like a speaker to inform all Culling game players on any big updates. And there is a big update. A new rule has been added to the Culling game for the first time, and from here on out, players will basically have a leaderboard for the game where they can see the names, points, numbers of rules added, and residing colony of each other player, which is pretty interesting and adds a level of strategy to the game. And then we cut over to Kashimo Hajime, a new character who was first shown surrounded by blood and darkness, as he stares down the corpse of someone he blasted into a wall. He is apparently looking for a strong opponent, saying that he hasn't been challenged at all, and that 400 years ago was much better. Specifically though, he is looking to find Sukuna. As a result, he chose to spend 100 of his 200 points to add the rule disclosing information. 200 points, by the way, means that he has killed at least 40 people so far, and the game is literally just beginning. The group is initially surprised as to why they are getting updates when none of them are technically in the game yet, since they haven't entered a colony, but it was likely because of Sukuna. When he was still alive, Sukuna probably made a contract with Kenjaku to become a cursed object, and part of that contract was playing in the Culling game. But now, Yuji has consumed Sukuna's fingers, and he is being held accountable for Sukuna's actions. Fushiguro and Yuji pull up the list of players and begin coming up with a plan. If they can find someone with 100 points who has no intention of adding rules, they can try to force them to add rules themselves. And when it comes to people with over 100 points, there are only two, being Higuruma Hiromi with 102 points, and Kashimo Hajime, who we met earlier, with 100 points now. Something to note is that this meant Hajime had nearly double the points of the person in second place. Whatever this guy's deal is, he is absolutely going to be a threat. Now, the rule that they want to add to the game is one that would allow them to bypass their biggest weakness. Currently, any player who doesn't have their point total change within 19 days will be eliminated. So, if they add a rule that allows players to transfer points back and forth between each other, they can constantly bounce a single point every few days to keep their total changing. Then, if possible, they could add a second rule allowing players to exit the game by spending points, which might be allowed despite it contradicting earlier rules if they can get someone else to swap in for them. Either way though, the plan from here is clear. While they look for a person who can release Gojo from his seal, they will hunt down Hajime and Hiromi and try to add these new rules, and with that, this crazy chapter comes to an end. We both made some powerful allies, as well as got a look at some very dangerous new enemies. It's great that we have Hakari on our team now, but how strong will he be really? I doubt he was really going all that hard against Yuji, but he did say he expected him to be killed in the previous chapter, so he might just be used to going easy on people because minimal effort is enough to kill. At the same time though, Hajime is super scary. 40 kills in such a short time is nothing to ignore, and he's willing to hunt down Sukuna on top of that. If that doesn't spell out someone who's incredibly dangerous, I don't know what will. Also, what's all this about him saying 400 years ago was better? Just how old is this guy, and is he possibly another cursed spirit similar to Sukuna himself? I don't believe we know all of these 16 special curses yet, so who knows, maybe he could be someone who's inhabited just like Yuji is, except in this case, possibly the curse already took him over. That's really my only guess at this point as to how he could be over 400 years old. Of course, we also got a look at Hiromi, who kinda gives me like a Frankenstein vibe, and it seems like he uses a mallet when he fights. Obviously, we spent more time with Hajime this chapter, but where Hajime has more of a clear, crazy feeling to him, Hiromi looks like he has a dry brutality vibe going on, and I am super excited to see more about him in the coming chapters. But what did you guys think of this chapter? I personally am super glad that this Fight Club arc is done with, and we can get back into the more serious stuff, as well as learning about these new villains who are just super interesting to me. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below though. As always, if you enjoyed this Jujutsu Kaisen video and want to see more, please leave a like, and if you're new to AnimeUproar, remember to subscribe and ring that bell. By selecting all notifications, you can help guarantee that you don't miss any of our future videos. Finally, you can follow AnimeUproar on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar, or you can follow myself at AxelBeats. I want to give a big thank you to all of our patrons over on Patreon who allow videos like this to be possible, especially the patron of legend, the one who's acknowledged by Lord Twigo himself, Alpha Sigma. As well, our the 1-tier patrons, the ones who stand above all clans, Ingrata, Patehefa, Aljatal, Hinokami and Water, the Toasted Chi, the Spike8227, Corey McGowan, Dylan Isidore, Spidey Life Tanel, Tungsten Tarkus, Baked Buddhist, Cody Hebert, and Monkey D. Quilly. Finally, our Pro Hero tier patrons, Gilgamesh, the Red-Haired Raven, Anel Cruz, Rathuin De Ora, Very Gucci, Alicia Octor, Bonnie Parks, Joanne Garcia, Ted No Ted, Fatboy Games, and Soulrise Slice and Dice. If you enjoy our work, or maybe think we just offer a little bit of extra enjoyment in your day-to-day life, please consider going to patreon.com/AnimeUproar and supporting the channel. For as little as $1, you will get your name featured in future videos, as well as have access to our exclusive patron-only Discord. You can also join the YouTube channel by clicking that blue join button next to the subscribe option, but whichever way you support us, you will get these same great benefits. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, stay excellent.